Hello, I am Professor Zahoor, ex-Dean Faculty of Fine Arts, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. Mixed media Mixed media means one has to use different materials. This time I am using poster colors, gouache and pastels. Let's see if need be one can use dry pastels or oil pastels. So let's try it. Let's watch. Take out the colors in palette lemon yellow and ultramarine blue. Give a wash of lemon yellow on the paper and while it's still wet, add blue and let it spread naturally across this wet surface. Where one wants to darker tone, use more pure color. The blend of yellow and blue will give a green tone. One can find n numbers of images in the flow or abstraction. Imagination can play wonders to an artist as well as viewer's mind, whether it's a vision for images or finding and creating various tones by blend of two colors. In abstraction, one can turn the sheet upside down also to explore more possibilities. Like Paul Gauguin says, I shut my eyes in order to see. Mix the flow wherever necessary. One can see light and middle tone of colors, a value variation. One can add more dark and more light tone to the created surface. Mix blue with magenta in the palette and put a few touches in the painting. Towards the center of the painting and also the bottom part to give it a heavy look. This color will create a space division, bigger area and smaller area. These dots will act like musical notes. The impression of river has started to come. It depends on an artist on which area he wants to create a focal point. Make a darker tone with blue and purple. and use it pure to draw a tree on the left side of the shaded surface. To create a gap between two trees, make the one in the background a bit shorter, and branches which may vary in thickness and shape. More haywire they are, the more natural and playful they will look. At a baseline under the trees, the spreaded strokes across the sheet adds ripples to the water. On every stroke movements, shapes and look of the painting changes. The foreground should be heavy and detailed. One can add stones, leaves, pebbles, or anything one wants to place in front. The middle of the painting is slightly lighter than the foreground, and one close to the horizon is the lightest. One keeps on adding strokes, and one can give the effect of marshy land, water, entangled roots, wind, storm, or stillness. The artist leaves it on the viewer to imagine anything he wants in the abstraction of strokes. It is not necessary to give a clear shape to the object represented, as the artist is also enjoying the play of strokes and exploration of imagination. Keep the making the foreground dark. Add a few dilute strokes to add foliage to the tree. The dabbing of brush also add images and impressions in the painting. Each dab can imply any shape and movement. Add darkness and one is adding weight. One can work in layers and layers merge the strokes. And then again take them out with dark tone from the surface. Where they got lost in the free application of other colors. Take out the branches and add bushes by crimson. These can take the shape of ferns too. The whole scene is converted new from water to land. With each progressing strokes. With a tone of red, green adds to the richness. Green always takes a middle area. One should not be scared to bring changes in the painting. An artist should be daring enough to destroy the initial imaginative notions and create a new picture. Once, where there was marshy land and water in the initial stage of painting, has been turned into fields by the touch of green color. In the first layers, it is blue, magenta, and crimson. The middle surface is greens, and the farthest one will take the tone of mauve and light yellows. Spread the green patches in the foreground too, just to make a connection between the two space divisions. Take dark blue transparent tone and add it in vertical strokes behind the green to create a distance and another division of space. Even in these bushes, one can place a dark tone at some places and the bushes at a distance can be made dull and lighter in tone. Blue is the color which is used to create a perspective, a distance in the painting. After the distance is created, add darker patches of green to create another layer of bushes. Which will add compact effect to the foreground. Total scenario has been changed from what is was at previous or initial stage. The transparency has been covered by opaque layers. Now add haphazard dry strokes of green for making the heavy foliage of the trees. One can put bold patches or create effects by rubbing the dry brush over the surface to create textures. Application of one color over the other creates different tones and as per the need of the changed color tone. The artist feel like adding another color to complement and blend with the experimental tone. Total look of the painting has changed. Even if the heaviness is on the trees and the foreground, still the focal point is the little patch of transparent yellow in the sky, which is visible and peeping from behind the detailed portion. The lightness of the sky is the pivot. The eye moves to the part first, and then the vision travels through the whole painting. A few strokes here and there contribute to the minuteness. One's imagination guide and converses regarding which color to apply and at which place, how thick a layer should be, and what stroke of brush will add particular desired impression. On looking at the painting, one can easily see that there is a need of few light strokes in the darker patches to form a language between the sky and the field. We will add a few touches of yellows and reds with dry pastels now. But after the lower layer dries, till now we saw the usage of transparent watercolors and opaque watercolors. Now is the time to add third medium, dry pastels, to this mixed media creation. Just by one stroke, one can see the closeness to the tones of sky. To activate this area, this was very much required. One can apply dry pastels on the wet surface also to save the effort of fixing them later with a fixative, as the wet surface will itself hold the particles of dry pastels. These light strokes are very important to take the viewer inside this painting. It will create a path for the vision to travel from one depth to another on a way which was totally dark before. From the foreground, vision will now travel to the middle portion behind the tree, and then to the sky, and again follow the path from horizon to the foreground. One's imagination can turn these lighter depths into a road, path, leaves, something adorning the ferns or even ripples. These strokes have created vibration in the still surface. Three bold strokes or patches of skin color on the horizon can imply huts or even the bushes. Now is the time to add red over the green. Red always takes front as told previously, so it is best to use it to add flowers in the foreground. A few touches of mauve will also create an interaction with the blues in the background. Observe the painting from a distance and see which areas needs to be submerged or highlighted. One can increase as well as reduce the intensity of colors even at a final stage. Subduing the bold patches of skin color with green color has turned hurt into bushes. Again, the application of peach color in a wide spread has added a new thing for the eye to focus on. The focal point has shifted from the sky to the peach colored part. Whether it's oil, acrylics, gouache, watercolors, or pastels, one can create numerous kinds of effects to bring out the best in the painting. One can guess from the transparent sky that the prevailing scenario started from which effect and reached where on the final stage. The focus is shifted back on the sky. What a trick a few tones and strokes can create in a painting. With the usage of Persian blue, one can subdue the peach patch and add a few lines of hut to it. Vision can shift instantly and can be again brought back to the original focal point. The blue lines have added life to the forest. The lonely and silent greenery is now full of huts, implying people living there. One needs to have the guts to explore and hide as well as bring out something from inside, from the surface as well as vision. Painting is a medium which one can perfectly use to vent out one's feelings and experiment to any extent possible by blending various mediums together to create an apt impression of one's imagination. If one is happy, one will use bright colors like red, yellow, and green. If one sad, one will use blues, greys, and dull shades. An artist depicts his feeling by his colors and strokes. I, as an artist, am feeling homesick. That's the reason is the solitary background. I added hut. It is a reminder of my hometown, my native place, which I left behind 45 years back to more ahead in life. The painting brings me close to it is my imagination at least. My subconscious mind brings out the objects close to my heart. In the painting, out of nowhere. Painting is that's why known as a form of meditation to bring out inner feelings. And what's why is used by psychologists as a therapy. When you start a painting, it is somewhat outside you. At the conclusion, you seems to move inside the painting. Fernando Botero. Remove the masking tape from the side of the sheet and then see the even border is has created for the painting. That also adds to the beauty.